Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock. Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
David? Are you here? Can you hear me?
It began at a party. It was only a game.
David?
I want to bring a medium by your apartment as soon as possible to exorcise the spirit.
Okay, let's talk to some ghosts.
Linda has made contact.
Linda, unlock the door.
David is here, and he's playing for real. It isn't a game anymore. Witchboard. Don't play it alone.
Hey guys, we're here to talk about one of my guilty pleasures when it comes to horror movies, something I absolutely love, and like I'm going to go see the new one that's out now. Like, I love movies about witch boards, and what better movie to talk about Ouija boards than Witchboard itself. Like, this movie is fantastic. I love it. And I told Tom never saw it before, and I told him a couple movies I wanted to review, and I was like, yeah, so we'll talk about Witchboard. And he's like, well, I've never seen it. And I was like, how in God's name have you never seen Witchboard?
I've never seen it.
He's a horror fan, but he's just like,
Well,
no,
I like horror movies. I'm not a fan. I like horror movies. I'm not a horror fan like you are.
No, there's not many people.
No, right, but I like horror movies. But anyway, no, it was a good movie. It was. I gotta say, it really was. A couple of stars in it.
Like Patch from Days of Our Lives.
Yeah,
my boy. Yeah, Patch.
Tawny Katane.
Oh yeah, Tawny Katane. That was the big deal about that movie, that she was in it.
Yeah. She did Playboy, and she did America's Funniest People with Dave Coulier, didn't she?
I don't remember that.
Back in the 90s.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Look it up. Google it.
Tawny Katane, Patch.
There's another guy too, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know the other guy. The other guy actually does cameo in Witchboard too, right at the very end.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, the star of the movie. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was a good. Like I said, I actually enjoyed Witchboard.
It's fantastic.
Because even the build up, like even the bit, like they were at a party and they broke up the Ouija board.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
which could happen.
These always start the same way, and I mean, it's so easy. Like, everybody takes it as a joke, and of course, people play it, and then it leads to somebody playing it by themselves.
Yeah.
And like, I love that they actually set up parameters and rules. So, like in Back to the Future and other time travel movies, they actually have to come up with rules for time travel, and it's kind of like this with the Ouija board too. Is there's rules about playing it, and then you can't play it by yourself because we got a random Starscream appearance here. So they actually come up with a set of rules that you can't play it by yourself, and then they talk about the stages of the possession, where at first the spirit from the Witchboard will actually be really friendly and helpful, and I think in this one tells her where her lost, was it ring?
A ring, yeah.
Ring was get lost down in the drain pipe, and she found it. So there was a benefit to doing it, and eventually you get addicted and you can't stop going to the Witchboard, and the more you do it, it leads to you becoming possessed.
And I think that one of the guy, Patch, we'll call him, I forget his name in the movie, but he was explaining about how this happens. Like, you get hooked, and you get...
I don't care what his character's name is. We call him Patch.
Yeah, but
he's only Patch.
But he explains about how the fact that the user of the Ouija board gets addicted, and they play it more and more often, and then the demon that it conjures up tends to play nice, and then all of a sudden it'll start doing
flip reverse.
Yeah,
and that was one of the things I too like. I really like. There's a storyline there about how Patch was originally with Tawny Katane, then he went out with this other guy.
Yeah.
They're longtime friends. There was this really, great backstory
It was.
too, which
It was.
you know, you don't really gotta throw it like a horror movie. All you really need to do is 7 people somewhere, shit goes down, and people start dying. Like that's pretty much a horror movie. And it's
Stabby.
yeah. But you know, it's nice to see some backstory in
Oh,
there.
yeah.
I know some people don't like that, but I actually give horror movies credit when there's actually some substance to it.
Yeah. Well, it's not just.
As long as it's not ridiculous
Well,
substance.
yes, yeah, and again, it's plausible. It's
Yeah, this
it's-
is completely
you know, it's-
plausible.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, one of the parts was when Buddy got killed at the work site.
Yeah.
Tragic, but it could happen.
Yeah, and there was that aspect too that sometimes gets forgotten in these movies. Like people were dying. The cops were actually trying to pin these murders on somebody.
Yeah.
It seems like in a lot of horror movies, like people die, the cops are just like, you know, shit happens. You know,
Don't know,
that's
man.
it. Like,
Yeah.
But there was actually grounded in reality again that people were dying. So obviously they had to look for a culprit. And
Yeah.
you know, basically the spirit that was possessing Tani Katan was also then trying to frame her dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was
I did.
great.
Yeah.
Like, Witchboard, you know, 10 out of 10. And also, not so much Witchboard 2. Witchboard 2 is still good.
Never
Witchboard 3,
No.
don't
many is
watch. 3 that I know of. There's probably like 17 more, but only 3 I know of. Also, like, it leads into, they've got the new Ouija movies. They're okay on a different level, and
Yeah.
that's more like a cross between Witchboard and Sinister. If you ever want to watch those, Ouija was good. I think I don't know if it's on demand or not now,
Ouija's
but it's really
fine, too.
good. No, that's actually Ouija is the Origins of Evil is what's coming out right now,
Oh,
which
okay.
is the prequel to the movie that came out a couple of years ago, Ouija.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Yeah, I love stuff about witchboards. Have you ever actually played a witchboard?
No.
We did it when I was like 13. We went to like a friend of mine's cabin resort. He had a pool house, so
Yeah.
it was his birthday, and we had like 15 kids out there. We were actually playing around on the Ouija board. That was
yeah.
that was pretty neat.
Did someone play around and pretend it was a?
No, it was all. Well, I'm sure they did, but it was
Yeah.
all pretty much stupid stuff.
Oh, yeah,
We
wow.
said, "Which girl likes us?" and stuff
Ooh,
like that. You
yeah.
know, like no one really played it serious. And then later on, we used to, when we were in our 20s, we used to go to parties and we'd be drunk, and like for some reason they break it out, and then all of a sudden it broke down to just one person. They were asking about their dad's bad feet. Like it's pathetic. No, and nothing ever cool. Like you know, you don't want to see this stuff, like anything actually happen, but
Yeah.
you kind of do. Like you hear stories, and you're like, man. Like I heard stories about people doing it with candles around them, and then when they tried to take their hands off the what is it called? The piece that goes on it.
I forget he said it. What, placard or something.
Placard or planter. I can't remember what
Yeah.
it's called exactly. Planchet or something like
Planchet,
that.
yeah.
A planchet. And when you when they take their hands off it, all of a sudden the candles, the flames all flew right up around them.
Oh, wow.
Like spooky stories.
Cool.
I'd love to see something like that, but I'd also never want to see something like that. It's like an alien. Like I would love to see an alien, but I also would never want to see an alien. It's like my
Yeah.
greatest fear, but also something that would,
Yeah.
you know.
Worse than
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, Witchboard. Completely gone off on a tangent, but Witchboard's a fantastic horror movie. Really good, really fun watch. Great storyline. And ending was a little boring. Though.
Yeah,
a little
it was kind of bad. I mean, it does those cheesy, you know, lead into the second movie where, right? I don't want to give it away, but you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, that was a big thing in horror movies back then.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody had to have it. And horror movies were so cheap to make.
Yes.
And they made a fortune on them, so they were like, gotta have a sequel. You'd always have to leave people wanting more.
Yeah.
It's like the original Halloween. That was supposed to be one and done. And they actually changed it on John Carpenter. I don't know if they told him or they just went ahead and did it anyways. Why'd you take your arm off from around me?
The cat is like,
Cat. Oh, yeah.
Crazy cat. Okay, give it up. Find it.
So, and they changed it, and they had Michael get up after he was shot.
Yes.
Right? And
Yeah.
it was just so people would be like, oh, he got away. Gonna be another one.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, like I said, it was a good movie. It was a good movie.
Yeah, I would
I
give it
enjoyed it.
very high marks.
I would.
Of the horror movies like that, Witchboard is right at the very top of movies I would suggest.
All right, guys. Have a good one.